This was kind of funny. People were talking about this. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot, he said that the $70 price tag of Skull and Bones was fair because what he said is it was a quadruple A game. During a Q&A session as part of a conference call discussing Ubisoft's Q3 sales for the fiscal year 2024, one caller pointed out that Skull and Bones now appears to be taking a more live service approach. The game's year one roadmap was recently published, for example. The caller asked why Ubisoft was insisting on charging $70 for the game and potentially limiting the size of its player base, suggesting a free-to-play model may better suit the live service mechanics and give it a better chance of building a community. Guillemot replied with an assertion that Skull and Bones deserves to be a full-price game because of its scale. Quote, "You will see that Skull and Bones is a fully fledged game," he said. "It's a very big game, and we feel that people will really see how vast and complete that game is. It's a really full, triple, quadruple A game that will deliver in the long run." I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real right now, Eve. I'm not pulling punches, okay? I've played a lot of Skull and Bones at this point. Way more than I thought I would play. Certainly before the game actually launched. And here's the deal. It's fine. It is a video game. But I actually went and made a list. There is not a single thing I can come up with that Skull and Bones does that it does better than any other game. Like, there's literally nothing it is the best at. And that's already a problem for a $70 game. In my view, if you're going to charge $70, if you're going to charge full price, there needs to be at least a theory that our game does X better than anybody else. That could be just, hey, we're like, excuse me, we're a pirate game and we're the best pirate game that is currently available. Okay, that could be a compelling reason to get it for $70, right? Or it could be, hey, we're coming out with Space Marine 2 and our $70 game, I think it's $70. It's the best like cinematic Warhammer game on the market. That alone, reason enough for a lot of people to get it. But with Skull and Bones, I can't come up with a single thing it does best. Like pirate games, I honestly think Sea of Thieves is just more fun most of the time. I think it's a better cooperative pirate game as well. It has a lot more content as far as I've been able to deduce after playing a lot of Skull and Bones and a lot of Sea of Thieves. So all of that's leaning in favor of Sea of Thieves. Graphically, it's not like Skull and Bones is a slacker, but it's also not like, I don't think it's the best looking game out there. And in terms of overall design, it's clear that this is like, it's a game that's been in development hell for a long time. There's a lot of weird remnants of old design philosophies and stuff. Like combat wise, again, I think Sea of Thieves ship combat is just frankly better and it's more engaging and interesting because it's very collaborative. Like you have to work together on reloading cannons and angling the ship properly and adjusting the sails and the speed and everything. There's a lot that goes into it, but it becomes a sort of dance when you have a team that's working together really well on a big ship in Sea of Thieves. With Skull and Bones, you just kind of swing around and it's like a clunky tank mini game in another video game. Like it just doesn't do anything that great. So I think it's just tough to charge $70 when other games do literally every single part of your game better. It's tough to understand why this needs to be full price. Now, I do think there are people that will play it with like Ubisoft Plus, because I believe it's included in that, and they'll probably have a good time. For like $15 a month, you pay $15, play this for a month, you could probably have some fun with it. But I think it's just another game example of a game that hasn't earned its monetization. Just like we were saying earlier, where Helldivers 2, their CEO of the company said that games have to earn the right to monetize. You have to earn that money, the extra money from players. And honestly, once you've earned it, they'll just start throwing it at you. Like I said in my example of The Witcher 3, where I just started buying copies of the game for my friends because I wanted to support them because I love the game so much. But with Sea of Thieves, it feels like they haven't earned it yet. The game isn't even out yet, but they're like, yeah, you will see. Not like you haven't seen. This isn't established, but you will see that Skull and Bones is a full-fledged game. It's a very big game. We feel that people will really see how vast and complete the game is. After they spend $70, they'll see how big it is. And to be fair, and like just to shut this down. I've actually been surprised at how small the game is. Like, it's not actually, did I say Sea of Thieves when I meant Skull and Bones? Sorry. Yeah, sorry. All of these pirate games that start with S's, thank you for putting up with me and my brain fog. But with all this, like, I've been surprised at how small the game feels. It doesn't feel like a vast ocean. Honestly, Assassin's Creed Odyssey feels way bigger, and it might actually be way bigger. Plus, that game has all this other stuff that it gives you. So again, it's tough to find something that Skull and Bones does best. I can't think of a single thing. So I would fully expect that this game, when it releases on February 16th, player numbers are probably a poopy. And I would not be surprised at all if it ends up on a Game Pass within, like, by the summer, honestly. I would not be shocked at all if at like the Xbox show in June, it's announced Sea of Thieves coming to Game Pass. That wouldn't shock me at all. And honestly, maybe it stands a chance. Now, they might not let them do that since they have Sea of Thieves and they don't want them to like step on each other's toes. But honestly, I don't think this game is much of a threat to Sea of Thieves. So at the end of the day, they've already been very clear. They don't expect this to actually make much money, if any. Or, well, to be more specific, I think what they said specifically was that they do not expect this to recoup its development cost. So they don't expect it to make any money. In terms of revenue, of course, they're hoping for a good chunk of change with the $70 price tag. But I think, there's probably maybe 2,500 to 5,000 people that try this game. Like, it's going to sell very, very poorly. And it's too bad, but it's just after a game's been in development for a decade, it's announced and then re-announced and restarted in development all this time, like time and time again. Eventually, players are just going to check out. And, 10 years ago, this game, if it were to drop, I think would do very well. But now with like Sea of Thieves, with many other live service games that have fuller offerings, I just think it's going to be tough for it to really compete and stand on its own, unfortunately. But I mean, then the Sea of Thieves, or rather the Skull and Bones tale, is going to come to an end. It's going to come to an end. Like, what are we going to talk about anymore? we'll have nothing to talk about anymore. It's like an of an era, basically. Yeah, it was supposed to drop like a year after Black Flag. Yeah, like this game was supposed to come out back when like Obama was in the middle of his second term. This was supposed to launch on the PS4 and Xbox One. It's gonna be tough. It's been in development for a minute. So yeah, that's what it's gonna be. Ubisoft just needs to make a Black Flag sequel. Well, so what they're now having this team do that's putting out Sea of Thieves, they are being tasked with remaking Black Flag. This has already been rumored and confirmed. So their next project is to remake Black Flag using all of the assets and stuff they built for Skull and Bones. So their hope is that they can at least get something out of it. They can use all of the resources and improved water tech and graphics and stuff like that, all the assets they built. They can just put those into the Black Flag remake, and maybe it ends up being really good. This studio previously has done like support stuff for Assassin's Creed, so it's not like they're totally unfamiliar with the franchise, but it's going to be interesting to see if that actually holds up, because can you imagine if it takes them another 10 years to get that out the door? Oh, man. Oh, man. He took my thing.